What's going on, guys? Hayden Crabtree, author of Skip the Flip, Secrets the 1% Know About Real Estate Investing, back to talk to you about how to invest in property in 2021. 2020 was an absolute just crazy year, but I'm happy to announce that it was the best year of my life, and it could have been the best year of your life too. If it wasn't the best year of your life, we're gonna talk about how to make 2021 the best year of your life through real estate investing, okay? So I have a couple of key points I wanna talk to you about today. Super important to know before you go out and think about becoming a real estate investor for the first time, before you go and buy your next property, some things that I definitely want to talk to you about, okay? So before we get started, I wanna ask that you smash the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'm always dropping new content on here that I want you to stay up to date with. I missed a little bit of content last year. I closed a big 8-figure deal that I'm super happy about, but now it's back on the grind of helping you guys out learn and become better real estate investors. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start putting out more content. I want you guys to be here for the ride. So subscribe to the channel and let's get going. Okay, so first thing you need to know about buying property in 2021. Number one, where is the property located? With coronavirus, we've seen a bunch of new things come out regarding, is the property in a blue state? Is it in a red state? All politics aside, I need you guys to understand, do I invest, do I own property in a landlord and business friendly state? This is the number one thing that I need you guys to know, is that we want to put as much control as landlords in our own hands and get rid of control from the government's hands, okay? So places like California, places like Oregon and Washington, they're doing all these rent abatements. You can't evict anybody. And listen, I'm all for equal protection, treating people fairly, but at some point, landlords are going to catch the bad end of this deal, and you need to protect yourself to make sure that you're not one of those landlords who's going to catch the back end of this, to where you have to make your mortgage payments, you have to make your property taxes, which, by the way, property taxes are probably going to go up as governments need to get more revenue. People who are paying taxes, who are working, we have a lot less people working, so therefore a lot less revenue is going to be collected. What's one place they can go to collect revenue? Property taxes. So you're going to have to pay property taxes. You're going to see property tax increase prices. You're really going to make sure that you're collecting rents from your tenants. So we don't want to live in a place where the government encourages our tenants not to go to work, encourages our tenants not to pay rent, and to tell them that that's okay. So we want to invest in places like Texas, places like Florida, places like Tennessee. They have positive population growth. We don't want to invest in negative population growth areas. We want to invest in positive population growth areas. We want to make sure that the government is on our side as a business owner, as a landlord, okay? So that's the number one point. If you're going to go out and you're going to buy property in 2021, make sure the government is on your side and is pro-business, pro-landlord, okay? Number two, I just talked about it. Please be very aware of where you're investing and the demographics of that area, okay? So demographics meaning who lives in the area you're investing in, and what kind of income do they make? Are more people coming in? Who is your, essentially your avatar, right? In marketing, we have this thing called your avatar. And in real estate investing, we want to understand who is the person who's going to rent our space from us. Is it a business? Is it a person? Is it a family? What you invest in, whether it be houses, apartments, storage units, industrial buildings, depends on who that's going to be, but you need to have a good story of why, if you were to lose your current customer, who's your next customer going to be, right? And if you can't tell yourself who that next customer is going to be, you're going to have a hard time finding that next customer, okay? So be very aware of when and where you invest, the demographics of that area. Who's moving in, who's moving out, why are people doing this, why are they moving that, what's happening to the local businesses, what's happening to the local population in terms of their income, their jobs, everything of that nature. So if you're going to invest in 2021, do your demographic research. Point number three, if you're going to invest in 2021, which I want you to, it's going to be a great year to invest. Okay, point number three is that make sure that you have sufficient operating reserves. So what that means, operating reserves. If we're going into a property, I'm buying a property, then I want the property to cash flow. I want the property to pay me, but I also need to be prepared for some period of time that I could still pay my expenses, pay my mortgage, pay my property taxes, pay the people working for me. I need to be able to pay those people in case I didn't have rent for a month or 2 months or 3 months. My personal number is I have at least 2 months of mortgage payments and operating expenses on hand at all times. That is my minimum. So if you're gonna go out and invest in, let's say you're buying a $100,000 house, you're gonna put 20% down, you need, in your mind, $20,000 down on that house. But really, you're probably gonna need about $25,000, maybe $26,000, depending on the expenses of that house and your mortgage on that house. You're actually gonna need to have that amount of money on hand whenever you go to make that investment, and put that money, put that $5,000 or $6,000 extra dollars above your down payment into an actual account for the business, and treat it like that money is owned by that investment. You do not touch that money. That money does not get distributed. So whenever positive cash flow comes in and you're looking to pay yourself out, only pay yourself out the money above that $5,000 or $6,000 a month. Extremely, extremely important in times of uncertainty to have, and really all times, to have a couple months of cash on hand. So don't go spend, all that $5,000, $6,000. Have that account work up, pay yourself each month from the cash flow, but keep an operating reserve in there, okay? Point number 4, make sure as much as possible to have multiple tenants, okay? And so what I mean by that, if you're investing in a single family house, you're at a huge, huge, huge risk if your current tenant decides that they're gonna lose their job or they're not gonna pay their rent, and then all of the expenses fall on you as the landlord, okay? What we want to happen is that we want to have multiple tenants. So what I invest in, self-storage properties, I have 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 tenants paying me, the business, every single month. So if one tenant doesn't pay, I really don't even notice it. If 2 tenants don't pay, I don't notice it. I'd have to have, 20, 50, 70 people not pay me in order to where I actually had to come out of pocket and pay the expenses on that investment myself, which I feel really good about not having to go there. So when as much as possible, and I talk about this in my book, Skip the Flip, you guys don't have it, go to the link in the description. I give the book, the audio book, away for free. You can pick a physical copy up off of Amazon. Again, the link's in the bio or in the description here. So I talk about this. You want to diversify and get all the risk off your books as much as possible. And one of the ways we can do that is to diversify our different streams of income. Okay, so I want you guys to really take that lesson into 2021. If you're going to go out and you're going to buy an investment property, please, please, please try to buy something with multiple units. If all things are the same, if you've got a single family house for $400,000 and you've got a quadruplex for $400,000, if the numbers were the same, I'd much rather you invest in that quadruplex to reduce your income risk, okay? So we could go on and on. These are a couple of really helpful tips that I wanted to share with you guys about how to invest smartly in 2021. A lot of people think there's risk out there. I think the worst thing that you could do as an investor in 2021 is to not invest, okay? So everybody wants to speculate. Are we at the top of the market? Should I sit on the sidelines? Here's the thing. It's about getting reps, okay? So if you've never invested before, I would rather you go out and you start getting reps. And what I mean by that, getting practice, becoming an investor, and knowing what a good deal is and what a good deal isn't. Because if you're out there and you're waiting on the sideline for good deals, but you've never actually completed a deal, you're never gonna know what an actual good deal is when it slaps you in the face. So I'd rather you go out there and get started on some average, some marginally good deals. Don't invest in bad deals. Make sure it has cash flow, okay? Make sure you buy it below what it's worth and that it has monthly cash flow. But even if it just has a little bit, I'd rather you get started so that whenever the great deals do start to pour in, and I do think there will be a correction, that you're ready to dive into those deals. You're ready to say, this is a good deal, here's why, this is a good deal, here's why, and have a track record behind you so that if you don't have enough money to capitalize on opportunities, you have track records. You can go to investors, you can present deals, you can put creative financing deals together. Start building real estate investing as a skill, okay? And don't look at it like something that you know how to do and you're just gonna wait to act on it, okay? So that's what I have for you guys today, how to invest in 2021 smartly. If you guys have any questions at all, do me a favor, drop a comment below. Let me know what was most helpful for this, or if you have any questions about anything that I brought up here, drop it in the comments and I'll respond back to you. Rock and roll, let's do 2021 big. 2020 was a great year. Only if you made it a great year, that's gonna be the same thing for 2021. See you guys next time.